Just wanted to share my first out-of-body experience that I had, my first fully aware, self-induced out-of-body experience. My first experience that I had with the out-of-body state was using a HoloSync CD developed by the Centerpoint Institute. If you are familiar with the CDs, you will know the last 30 minutes are a very deep delta frequency and it's very difficult to stay awake. During this particular night, I just happened to wake up as the CD was fading away, right as it was ending. At this point, I could actually, physically, I could feel something going on inside of my head. Literally, it felt as if there was something ricocheting off the inner walls, to be honest with you, of my head. I closed my eyes and I looked into my field of vision. At this point, I can see it, what looked like a silvery, pulsating mass. That's the only way I can describe it. This pulsating silvery mass had this vibratory rate. It was a very fast vibratory rate, which is why I was feeling the effects physically, like there was something ricocheting off in my head. Something interesting happened though at this point. I began to hear this countdown, and it was coming from inside, like this inner countdown. I could literally hear 8, 7, 6. I began to think the words up and out, up and out. I next felt this literal explosion, followed by a downward sensation, like I was floating downward. When the movement of floating downward stopped, I could see my physical body right in front of me. At this point, I told myself if I'm out of the physical body, I should be able to float. And I started to float. I floated over to the wall of my bedroom. At this point, I told myself if I'm out of my body, I should be able to float through this wall. And float through that wall I did. I could feel the subatomic particles as I passed through that wall and came out the other side of it. At this point, my front yard was beyond the wall. I began to develop this fear, and I thought to myself, what could happen to me while I'm away from my physical body? What could happen to me? To my surprise, I got an immediate answer. From whom or from what? I do not know. But the answer was very clear. You are safe. Nothing can happen to you. You are safe. Nothing can happen to you. I next asked myself, how long do I have to be away from my physical body before I lose it? I didn't think that my body could be breathing normally if I was away from it, and I had these thoughts coming to me. At this point, I could actually hear my physical body breathing. I could hear its normal, regular, rhythmic breathing pattern, and I knew that I had nothing to be afraid of. But those two fears dissolved. I mentally thought the word up, up, up. And each time that I thought the word up, there was a sensation of upward movement. Once I stopped, I was roughly what appeared to be about 300 or 400 feet directly in the air above my home. At this point, I literally began to think myself forward, and I started to move forward. I extended my non-physical arms and my legs like in a Superman position, and the speed in which I was moving started to increase. I literally flew down the block, and when I came to the end of the block, I stopped. There's a convenience store on the corner. I mentally thought myself to the convenience store, and I was there in a flash, in front of the store looking inside. At this point, I had told myself that I had had enough. I'm going to employ the return to physical technique that you're shown to get back into the physical body. I focused my thought on my physical body and I was immediately propelled back into it. I opened my eyes. I sat up in bed and I can still feel that sensation inside of my head at that point. I got up, I went to the bathroom, I turned the light on and looked into the mirror, fully expecting that I would see some type of movement on both sides of my head, but there was nothing. The effect wore off in the next minute or two. But that was my first out of body experience. That was the first of many. That was also the first of many different type of spiritual experiences that I have learned to induce over the years. So just wanted to share that with you guys. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments section below. Thanks for listening.